Natural law, natural justice is the law of cause and effect. On the left, on this little laptop screen, I have a picture of Mel Gibson and his character in the movie The Patriot. And in that movie, in the scene, Gibson's character said, "Why should I trade one tyrant 3,000 miles away for 3,000 tyrants 1 mile away? An elected legislature can trample a man's rights just as easy as a king can." And the point I take from this is that he's referring to natural justice. The solution is not to trade one tyrant for many tyrants or a different tyrant for another tyrant. The answer is to understand natural law and natural justice. That's how we get to freedom. This is a quote that's going to be the theme for this video. So let me begin. Beginning quote, "The very idea of law originates in men's natural rights. There is no other standard than natural rights by which civil law can be measured." Civil law is human rules called laws. Okay? Law has always been the name of that rule or principle of justice which protects those rights. Thus we speak of natural law, end quote. Okay? That was Lysander Spooner. This is, like I said, the theme of this video. All human rules should be aligned with the natural rights of cause and effect. I'm going to explain that. Let's continue. Please support the One Great Work Network, a group of content creators that are trying to teach the masses natural law and natural justice, and trying to help the populace lead itself to freedom instead of the ladder of where we're going, which is an unbelievable hell world. We're already there in a hell world, but these content creators are wonderful, and please support them and check out the One Great Work Network. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Bill Hoy. My website is naturallawwithbillhoy.com. I have a podcast series, Natural Law with Bill Hoy, on Spotify, and that podcast series is basically takes current events and relates them to how the underlying causal factors for the happenings of the current events, how it's rooted in natural law and natural justice. And also, I have a video that I made. It's about an hour and 15 minutes long. It's on several mediums on my website, naturallawwithbillhoy.com. It's on YouTube and Rumble and others. It's titled "America's Being Destroyed. It is not our nature to destroy ourselves." And in this video, I give a introductory look into why we Americans and people of the world are heading towards total slavery and human destruction and extinction. It's pretty bad, but it's solvable. And the solution is here in understanding natural law, and that's how we can get a start. So let me continue. Natural law, a body of law that is universal, inherent, immutable, and objective, that governs the results of human behaviors. This is the science of cause and effect. Natural law exists no matter what humans think or do. When humans initiate physical harm to others, the results are violence, suffering, and slavery. When humans refuse to initiate physical harm to others, there is more freedom in society. Now for a Webster's Dictionary definition of natural law. Natural law, a body of law or a specific principle held to be derived from nature and binding upon human society in the absence of, or in addition to, positive law, like Spooner's quote there. Doesn't matter what rules we humans make in society, natural laws of cause and effect are in place, and I'm going to explain that. Now, unfortunately, the dominant ideology, natural law is not an ideology, by the way, not a religion, but unfortunately, we humans, Americans, Westerners, especially Americans, ascribe to postmodernist materialism, this religion. And basically, a basic definition of this would be humans are not bound by a universal system of moral laws. Survival of the fittest and most ruthless is the key to life. Objective morality does not exist. And this is really, whether people are conscious of it or not, this is, I'll speak for Americans, but this applies to the whole world, but most Americans ascribe to this ideology, whether they're conscious of it or not. And here is a very prominent postmodernist materialist, I say Satanist, at least indeed, I'd be willing to bet this man is a practicing Satanist. Satanist meaning not worshiping the devil, worship of self, and postmodernist materialism would be like Satanism. So this man his name is Richard Dawkins, and he is a origin of life researcher, biologist, PhD from Cambridge University. His beginning quote, "The universe we observe has precisely the properties we should expect if there is at bottom no design, no purpose, no evil, no good. Nothing but blind, pitiless indifference," end quote. And I'll just give a quick comment. No evil? You don't think there's any evil in this universe, in this world, folks? Child sex trafficking programs? You don't think that's evil? It's insane. Freedom is in our DNA. And from a little clip in the American Declaration of Independence, endowed by their creator. Yes, folks, we're endowed by the creator. And how? How is freedom in our DNA? Well, on the left here, I have a crude little model of DNA double helix. And for more information on this, I'm just going to go over this quickly, but for more information on this, you can go to my website, naturallawwithbillhoy.com, to my free will videos where I talk about this. And also, you can look into Stephen C. Meyer's work, especially his book, Signature in a Cell. Talks a lot about this, but I'm just going to go over this quickly. So, down the outside of the helix here, we have N-glycosidic bonds. There's sugar phosphate bonds that go across, okay, to the nucleotide bases, the adenosine, and then you got the weak bond there, the 3 dots, to the thymine. Okay, the correspondence, A to T, C to G. Okay, so there's no chemical affinity but between any sugar phosphate, anything that bonds the sugar phosphates to the nucleotide bases. Okay, there's no chemical affinity there, and glycosidic bonds. Now, continuing on, there's also vertically no bonds between the nucleotide bases vertically. So under this A, any A, T, C, or G can appear, and then you got the dots, the weak bond, and then the correspondence with whatever appears. And then same with above. Okay, there's no bonds above the nucleotide bases. Above that T and A, T, C, or G could appear, and then the weak bond, and then there's always, there's the correspondence. Okay, so there's a lot of freedom here in our creation and in our DNA. The DNA code of living things is highly advanced biological technology. The information in the DNA code is specific, complex, and has multiple functions and meanings. All available evidence shows that this type of information can only come from a mind that makes free will decisions. This conclusion is based on some of the most scrutinous inferential research by scientists with PhDs from prominent universities. Just want to be clear, just because a PhD from a prominent university says something doesn't mean it's true. You got to look into it for yourself. But I'm just pointing that out here, okay? This is proof that there is an intelligent presence in the universe currently, or at least in the past, that created life. This presence instilled free will decisions into our creation and into us, humans. This presence must have something to do with the laws of physics and cause and effect. Humans are bound by these laws. You can discover this for yourself. So you don't think you're bound by physical laws? You don't think you're bound by the law of gravity? Cause and effect, that's cause and effect. Physical laws, behavioral laws are rooted in cause and effect, and physical laws rooted in cause and effect. You don't think so? Go up to the top of a 7-story building and walk off the building, and you'll find out. You'll find out that you're bound by these laws. All right, so I'm going to explain a little about natural law here and how it works and why we should align our civil laws, human rules called laws, with natural laws of cause and effect, so we can get more freedom. If we refuse to initiate harm, we can get more freedom. Let's go into that. The natural laws of cause and effect result in the current condition of human society. Morality and freedom are intertwined. When more people in a society behave morally by refusing to initiate physical harm to others as well as refusing to support or condone violence, that society will be freer. Conversely, when more people in a society behave immorally by initiating physical aggression to others, coercing others with threats of violence, as well as supporting and condoning violence, that society will experience violence, suffering, slavery. Yeah, duh. How about that, huh? I mean, this is really a lesson for a 5-year-old. This is unbelievable. It's unbelievable that I have to teach adults that you're not supposed to initiate violence to somebody, and also that we can defend ourselves against initiation of violence against anybody. I'll get to that. Continuing. It does not matter what people choose to call behaviors or whether people think the behaviors are necessary. The results will be the results. For example, taxation. Taxation is robbery and coercion with the threat of violence for noncompliance. The results of taxation will be violence, suffering, and slavery, no matter what benefits there are for certain individuals. That's the whole Spooner quote there. That's the Spooner quote. Our civil laws should be aligned with natural laws, and taxation is definitely not aligned with laws of freedom. But people think it's necessary. People benefit off it, and people think that if we call taxation, if we call forced robbery, extortion, and coercion with the threat of violence, we call it taxation, that it makes it good, and it doesn't. The results are still the results: violence, suffering, and slavery. And grown adults can't get this. You got judges, prosecutors, people using physical force, police against others that don't even know this. They don't even know right from wrong. It's unbelievable. How do we use our free will to behave in alignment with laws of freedom? Well, you got the trivium here, okay, and it starts at the lower left: knowledge, leading to understanding, and then to wisdom, okay, self-actualization, and then the process goes around again. You just get more higher, more intelligent, and get a higher consciousness level. You get more knowledge, more understanding, more wisdom. Knowledge is gathering data. Understanding is getting, standing under, so to speak, getting a full comprehension of that knowledge and the meaning and the function and stuff like that. And then taking that knowledge and understanding and applying it to your behaviors and getting wisdom. Okay, this is what all children should be taught right here. All right. Continuing with how do we use our free will to behave in alignment with laws of freedom? Let's see what we got here. What do we do when people make and enforce rules called laws that do not align with our values? For example, when public schools teach children sexualized education, gender neutrality, and how to decide if they, the kids, are heterosexuals or homosexuals. Well, first bullet point, we remove our children from public schools. How about that? Hey, there's an idea. Next bullet point, we tell the people in charge that we will not pay taxes if this type of education continues in our community. How many men in this country have the guts to even think that? How about that? Huh? Oh no, we don't talk about that. Next bullet point, we back it with potential force. How about that? Physical force always has to be on the table. I'm not saying that's the answer. Okay? But physical force has to be on the table. You got to back it up. Next bullet point, teaching children sexualized education is child abuse. Why? Because small children especially are not able to fully understand homosexuality and gender identification. All children are not ready to make decisions like this. These decisions are individual adult decisions. Yeah, for adults. Okay, these are adult decisions. Next bullet point. The former bullet point also applies to compelling children to stand up for songs like national anthems and salute flags. Yeah, how about that? This is child abuse for the same reasons. Pushing religions on children is child abuse. Teaching objective morality to children is good, okay? It's optimum. But want to be clear. See, compelling children to stand for national anthems and salute flags is child abuse as well, because children cannot understand. Children can't understand why they're doing that. That's for an adult to make that decision if they want to stand for a national anthem or a song and participate in the religion of politics. Okay? That's child abuse as well. A lot of people don't get that. Let's continue. All right. The police are not synonymous with morality. This is not my opinion. No human being can ever be synonymous with morality. No occupation can ever be synonymous with morality. We, humans, can only do our best to align our behaviors with objective morals, yes. No human being is synonymous with morality. No occupation is synonymous with morality. All right? First bullet point. Any rule or human-created law that initiates physical harm to others must not be enforced no matter what the consequences. Next bullet point. Almost all people who claim they support the police do not really support the police. Do you support your children? If yes, does that mean you let your children do whatever they want without any reprimands for incorrect behaviors? Hey, I might want to think about that one, huh? We have to do the same with police. Next bullet point. Why do the police do what they do? Because that is what people want them to do. Where do police come from? They come from the populace. The problem is us. Yeah. How about that? When the populace starts to align with laws of freedom, the police, if they still exist, meaning if we still have an institution of police like we have now, the police behaviors will reflect this. Okay? Police didn't always exist in America, folks. Watch the show Little House on the Prairie. They didn't have police in whatever that was, Walnut Grove or whatever. The townspeople did their policing. Continuing. Next bullet point, the last bullet point. The community has to rally around police who refuse to initiate harm. Set up charities for police who are fired for refusing to destroy freedom. The public can refuse to pay taxes if police are destroying freedom. Yeah, good luck. Final synopsis. Property ownership is the key to understanding the natural rights described by Spooner. First bullet point, all sentient beings, animals included, own their bodies. Sentient beings consist of living organisms that are able to experience pain and exhibit emotional responses to stimuli. Do you really think that you own the body of another being? Think about that. Next bullet point, humans have the same natural right to do whatever they want with and to their bodies as long as they do not initiate physical harm or support and condone physical harm to others. People can ingest whatever they want into their bodies. All human rules called laws must reflect natural rights. If we want freedom, the laws of freedom, don't initiate harm, don't support and condone the initiation of physical harm and get more freedom, okay? Humans can make whatever rules they want and enforce whatever rules they want. However, the results are objective. A society that experiences more freedom will have less initiations of physical harm as a result of human-created rules and the behaviors associated with societal norms as well as behaviors in general. Less initiations of violence, there's less violence, suffering, and slavery. Okay, you're going to have more freedom. It's like a positive-negative relationship. Next bullet point. When people's property is infringed on by initiations of physical harm, the victims have the natural right to use physical force to repel the infringement against anybody. I want to be clear about that. Against anyone. Doesn't matter what your job is. Doesn't matter what title a person is. It doesn't matter. Even by agents of your own government or whatever you want to call it. Police, politicians. Any victim of an initiation of harm has the right to defend themselves against anyone. That's a big one. Next bullet point. Humans own whatever resources they earn by using their bodies, spending their time, and expending their energy. No human being has the right to initiate violence against anyone who does not want to surrender their resources earned morally. Many people know this, but their behaviors do not reflect this knowledge. That's a trivium. People don't understand a trivium. Knowledge, understanding, wisdom. Most of these people will admit that taxation is not a right. However, they will say that this coercive practice is necessary for a functioning society Hence, we get what we get. And that's going to be it, and no one's going to care, and best of luck to you all.